everybody. It's the first time I've done a live, so bear with me. I'm really not quite sure how it works, but I understand you can ask me questions as I'm going along. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is wire mesh. I've just done a kit, which I don't know if you can see that. So this is the kit that I'm going to demonstrate to you first of all, and then I'll talk through what other things you can do with wire mesh. So let me introduce myself first of all. I'm Rachel by Beads by Verchiel. I'm in my shop here. I'm not open till 11 o'clock, so I thought I'll have a little chat and try out the live. In this kit, what you make is this. It's a brooch, but you can adapt it to a corsage, that's ideal for prom wear. You can put it in your hair. You can also make it into a bouquet. I'm by no means a florist, but they make up beautiful, beautiful flowers. And in the kit, you've got 0.8mm wire, which makes the frame. You've also got 0.4mm wire, which we make the stamens with that are in the middle, and we also bind all of them together. You've got a brooch back, and you've got wire mesh. If any of my friends are out there that know me, or anybody that's viewing, it'd be great if you could ask me a question, because I can check to see whether or not it actually works. This is the wire mesh. It reminds me a little bit of a pair of tights, where you've got an inner and you can get right up inside it. So anyway, let's get started, and I'll do the demonstration for doing the petals. Now, you don't need to have done any wire work before. You don't even need to have done any jewellery making before. This is suitable for people at all levels. So I'm going to cut a length of wire. All of the lengths and sizes are all in the kit. Now, that's probably best if I move that out of the way. I hope you can actually see what I'm doing. So this is my length of 0.8mm wire that I've got. These are flat nose pliers, and I'm going to make the tip of the flower with those to form the shape. Let's pop that there so you can see the flower. I'm going to pop my flat nose pliers at the 2.5-inch point from the tip, and then I'm going to turn it so that it's in a V-type shape. Now, what you want to avoid is actually pushing it down the other side, because you'll get train tracks, and we don't want train tracks. Okay, so you've got a shorter edge and a longer edge, and what we do now is we're going to bring that in like a fish shape. You see that? Make yourself a little bit of excess wire there, and then with your fingers turn it so that you've got at least 2 wraps. Now, you've got a rough edge here, and you want to not only cut that off but ease that round as well, because similar to a pair of tights, it will snag. There is extra in your kit to allow for any mistakes, but I like to make all of those for you. Right, so these are cutters, and there's a flat side and a raised side. What you do is you place the flat side against the wire that you want to cut, and that gives you a nice flat flush cut. So I've cut that, and I'm just going to ease that round with my pliers. So this is what we've got. Like I say, I believe that if you ask me any questions, type them up in the comments box and then I'll verbally answer them during the live feed. I believe they come up. Apologies if they don't. I will answer any questions afterwards. So there we go. So what you would actually do is you would make 5 of those petals. You can either do the wire mesh as you're going, or do the 5 petals and all together. So I just want to show you how versatile this is. I also stock it to buy without being in the kit. It's £2.50 a metre for this width, and I think it's £1.30 a metre for the 10mm thick, which is a little bit fiddlier to work with. So to show you how versatile it is, you can pull it out of shape and then don't like that and it returns back to its normal position. Okay, so let's get going with forming the petal. Now, I'm just going to cut off that raw edge, open up at the end. Right, let me just show you what I'm doing. So open up the raw edge, so you're going inside, so you've got mesh either side. Bring it down so that you've got roughly about a centimetre overlap, and then twist. Right, so what we're going to do next is at this tip here, do 2 twists. So pinch it and twist. There are lots of different ways you can work with a wire mesh. Some people like to sew the raw ends. It can be quite time consuming. This is the nice thing with this kit, is there's no sewing involved, but what we are going to do is we're using double the amount of mesh because we're going to bring the mesh back over. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that and measure that so it comes about a centimetre below this point here, because obviously when you stretch it over it will stretch out and reduce in size. So I'm going to snip that. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now this is the bit a lot of people find quite fiddly from workshops that I've done in the shop here and at college, is actually stretching out the wire mesh without ruining it. So you want to be gentle, but at the same time you need to actually open it up. So I'm just getting my fingers inside there and pushing that down. Let's get up close so you can see it. Alright, so that's what I've made. And then what we're going to do is I would put my finger on top of the twisted area to secure it, and then just gradually bring these 2 sides down. The worst thing that happens is these bottom edges can fray, so you don't want to be too brutal with it, but it does stretch. So we're holding the tip and we're stretching. So I'm going to twist, and you see we've got some raw edges there, some rough edges, so I'm going to cut that. And there we have a petal. So you would do that 4 more times I should say, so you've got 5 petals. So if you're happy to bear with me, I'll form the other petals. So thumbs up so far? Let me know, give me your feedback. Like I say, this is all new, but I got together with a friend of mine that told me about the live videos. And I don't know about yourselves, but sometimes you can have a kit, but it's also really nice to have someone to show you, because you look at things in a completely different light. and it can make things so much easier. And also you can get inspired as to what new things to make. I'm just in the process of making a corsage at the moment. It's prom dress time. My daughter's got her prom coming up, which inspired me to look at making some nice little wristlet corsages. The other thing as well that you can use the flowers on is if you've got a wedding coming up, you'd like to wear a hat, perhaps you've had a hat in that you've had for a little while and you want to give it a new lease of life, is you could make a flower and restyle your hat and no one will know that you've worn it before. Or you could go around the charity shops. You can get some really nice designer hats that people have worn. Right, so my connection is weak. Hopefully this is broadcast okay. If you're new to jewellery making and you'd like to come and give it a try, I am doing some taster sessions at the shop in March, so you can come along and try it. I also do jewellery making coffee sessions here in the week as well, which is great fun. And whilst I advertise what you're making, if you don't like what you see on there, you can actually make something different, providing you give me a little bit of notice just to prepare. So fingers crossed, I do hope this is going okay in terms of that it's going live. Right, I'm on number 3 now. It doesn't take too long. I think you're using probably approximately 1 metre of wire mesh by doubling it up on the flower, but if you want to be a bit more economical, then obviously you could sew around the tips of the wire mesh as well. Okay. This is something I've done for quite a long time, and it's like anything, you know, you do find quicker and easier way of doing things, and the people that I learn from most are you as well. Always open to suggestions as to how to do different things or to do things differently, and I'm a great believer in why not give it a go. I'm probably going to absolutely cringe after this has been broadcast. I definitely won't be watching it myself. There's nothing worse than seeing yourself on a recording. I have done some YouTube videos already. One of them is on a wire mesh brooch, a different sort of brooch, which I'll show you details of in a moment. And I believe that the YouTube link is Beads by Verchiel again. So, like I say, if you've got any questions while I'm doing this live, I'd really appreciate any questions that you've got, or any feedback. If you've made something, tell me about it so we can share it with everyone else. this is also quite nice if you're a florist. This is quite a nice way of people keeping their wedding corsages, because it's such a shame, the fact that they're such beautiful corsages, the fresh flowers, and they get thrown away. Whereas the nice thing is with these is you've got a nice keepsake. Right, this is the 5th one. If there's a particular colour that you want me to order for you, then just let me know. If you do want to order a kit but you're not comfortable with sort of going on the auction site, they are on my website, which is Beads by Verchiel, spelled Verchiel, as in the Facebook site. They are $7.95. You get full written instructions. I've got coloured photograph instructions as well. And like I say, everything's included in the kit. You will need at least a set of cutters and some pliers to shape the tip. Right, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the way I've got them similar measurements is by measuring on a ruler where I actually turn the wire for the tip. What I also do is pop stamens in the middle. I'm going to cut 0.4mm wire. Excuse me while I have a little drink. Bicone bead, which I'm just feeding the wire down the back, and I'm going to twist. I'm going to make 3 stamens. One. You can probably hear a bit of the noise. In my shop, for those of you that haven't been, I'm right opposite a children's play area, so there's never a quiet moment. A bit like home, really. But there's never a dull moment either when we have workshops, and those of you that come know exactly what I mean. Right, so you don't really want straight stamens in the middle because I think they don't really look that natural. So I'm going to wrap that around there to create. Okay, so do that. But like I say, please feel free to interact with me, and I believe if you pop a comment in the comment section, I do believe I pick it up. As I said, I've never done it before, so this is very new to me. If you have and I'm not replying, I apologise. Okay, 3 stamens that are going in the middle. Now this is probably the little bit that can be a bit tricky, where you need about 5 hands. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut some 0.4mm wire ready, because what I'm going to do now is bind all of the flowers together. You don't have to worry too much about their order, because you can sort that out afterwards, okay? But you do need those in the middle, and we can sort the loose ends out afterwards. you see that? But what is a good idea is these base parts here, it's a really good idea to line them up if you can, because otherwise you could end up with one petal sticking out and then you have to start the whole process again. I do teach at Swindon New College as well. I've got a course coming up this term, but if you go online, you do need to book directly with the college. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little tail here which I'm going to pop under my thumb, and that basically helps me to secure it. Hi Nadia, thank you so much for putting that on there, because I was wondering whether or not it was actually live. My friend Nadia, thank you so much. She spent time, came over for a coffee to the shop and showed me how to do it. Well, since then, we couldn't find it on my phone. I have got a new phone, so woohoo! Right, so I'm going to get a little tail there, and then I'm going to wrap it round the base, and all you're doing here is making it secure. Now Nadia does beautiful makeup as well, so I must put the link on there as well for Nadia. She does some brilliant videos. Thank you. Okay, so I've bound those together, just pushing any loose ends. So it's not looking that pretty at the moment, but you'll be amazed at the transformation. I'm going to trim off, so all of these ends here. My pleasure, thank you. So I'm trimming off all of those loose ends there. And for those of you that have done floristry, you'll be familiar with Florist Tape. I believe you can get coloured ones as well from the works to bind it with. This also comes in your kit as well. So I'm just going to cut roughly 1 metre. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover from over this bind part here all the way down, and then you need to save a little bit to pop your brooch back on. Now, in my wisdom, I'm not sure if I've got a brooch back here, but I can talk you through that. So it's sticky as well, this Florist Tape, which is wonderful. Again, it stops you having to sew anything. So I'll just show you that. Right, so go all the way down, because you don't want any rough edges for someone wearing this, and cut it off. Now, unfortunately I haven't got my brooch back here to show you, but I can show you the picture of the one I made. So can you see? I've just got a little brooch back, that's again in the kit, and I've actually wrapped the Florist Tape around it, so there's no sewing. It's perfectly secure, but it's a really good idea to have it closer to the stem, otherwise you get a droopy flower, and we don't want a droopy flower. So here comes the transformation. So this is what we've got. We've got stamen covered, and we're going to bring the petals out. And also you can sculpt it as well, so you can pull the petals out. Oh, thank you, Nadia. So if you want a fuller look, but this is sort of in between a purpley red colour, so that is your flower, which I think I've probably made in about 10 minutes. I'm not expecting you to do it in 10 minutes. You have to bear in mind I do a lot of these, but it's not, you get a beautiful effect in a very, very short space of time. So just to reiterate then, you can make this very same colour flower with the same stamens in it, and it's all in my kit. So literally you've got the wire mesh, you've got the florist tape, you've got the brooch back, you've got the crystals, you've got the wire in there. The only thing you will need access to is some tools so that you can bend and cut the wire. It's £7.95. Nice to ask your partner for a Valentine's gift, something to do over Valentine's. So I hope you enjoyed that, but before you go, I just want to show you a few other bits and pieces that I've made with wire mesh. Thank you. So this, I talked to you earlier about the fact that I've done some YouTube videos. This is one I did quite a while ago actually. There's no wire in this one, but it's using the same type of wire mesh. This one's sewing, and I've got a little button in the centre, so I've actually got a YouTube video on that that you could look at. That's the back. But these are all really nice accessories as well, if for popping on a handbag, for popping on a hat, a jacket. Also, they're quite fashionable at the moment, the sort of scarf type jackets. I can't think what they're called, but particularly when it's cold and you want to hold it in the corner so that it covers your neck, you could just use one of those to have on the shoulder, or likewise for your flower. So let me give you a little guided tour as to what sort of things you can make. Now bear with me because I don't know if you can see that. This was a fascinator. Let's try and, this was a hair fascinator that I've made with wire mesh, and this is sort of a rustic coppery colour, so nice for a wedding or a special occasion, or for sort of a special ball or something like that. In here I've done that technique of twisting with crystals and freshwater pearls, and then there was a lot of work in it, but it's like anything, isn't it? It's the enjoyment you get from it as well. And I've also put ribbon across the headband. So that was one fascinator. Again, the wireframe technique that I showed you, I've used for that as well. So not only is it just for those flowers, it's really versatile. Let's move that out of the way. So this is a plain flower, like the one that I've done, but popped into a fascinator with some wispy bits to add a little bit of movement to it. Oh, I say, oh, I've got a comment, but I can't see it. Sorry. Okay. These are other colours I've done the flowers in as well. Love this. It's a bit like an emerald green sort of colour. These are other ones that I've got in stock, is blue. Such a beautiful vintage blue. I've shown you the flowers. This is, again, another one I can stock. This is silk. It's a slightly different sort of weave to it. It's a lot thicker. And also I've used a different technique on the edges as well. I've used some twirls on the edges, if you can see that. And crystals in the centre. Used a few more crystals as well. Brooch back on the back. The other thing as well that you can do with the wire mesh, this is so quick, but such a beautiful effect. This is a wire mesh necklace, so I haven't added anything inside, but what I have done is I've used really large hole beads there. So what you can do, I can show you the technique, is you can roll it between your hands like that, so that it goes through large hole bead. And then you can straighten it out, and then to get these sort of puffy type flow to it is you just stretch out the fabric. And I've got these in stock as well. These are Indonesian beads. They're so beautiful. I've got a gold edging on there and black and orange. The other necklace as well, let's just pop that on there. That's this one. So it's similar technique. This is actually a thinner one. I've actually popped these on head pins, the crystals. I've put knots above and below the large hole beads. I've put knots on there because it's thinner, it avoids slipping. Now, finally, before I let you go, this is the other thing that you can make. Now, I've only got a plastic cup because, just for safety, especially as we've got children around the area, it's just for demonstration purposes. But basically, this is the same technique as you've used, but one of the petals has a longer stamen, and you use a thinner wire with this one. I use 0.6, and I've turned all the little wire bits underneath there. But this is so beautiful for a special meal, for Christmas. Is you can have a wine glass charm for everybody, or as a gift, a Valentine's gift. You could make one of these, pop it around a glass and fill it with chocolates. Add it with a bottle of wine. There you go. So if you've got any questions, I believe that you can watch this after it's gone live. If you want to ask me any questions, or if you want to order anything from me, my website is beadsbyverchiel.co.uk, but you can just message me, and I can take card payment over the phone, or I can PayPal you. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative and learnt a new skill. And if you'd like to come to the shop to do this as a workshop, or any other workshop, then again, if you go on my website and either text, phone or email me to arrange an appointment. Thanks ever so much for viewing. I'm going to open the shop in a moment. It's 10:30, got half an hour, have a quick cup of coffee. Anyway, enjoy your day. Over and out from me. Bye now.